So hi guys, it is now 7:20 and today we are going to Putrajaya to have a look and to a bit reviewing on one of the most beautiful masjid in Putrajaya, Masjid Besi, or we can call it Iron Mosque. So see you there. Here right now we are going to have a tour of Masjid Besi. This is the female praying room, and you can see here it's kind of like the exterior, and have a look at that. So it has that infinity nuance to it, and all of these are made of almost all reflective material so that it appears very glossy and watery. So I think there's an event on the first level, and this is, by the way, the second level. All made of glass. This is the staircase that leads to the lower grounds and the basements and the parking. Right at the main hall, there's a wedding happening. This is the E1. E1 is like the main gate of a mosque or a courtyard. So this is a courtyard style mosque, which means inside the ground, the mosque grounds, there's courtyard, so which makes the spaces between the E1 and the mosque over here, it is could be used by the community. I think they have changed the landscape, because for the past 10 years I think this water element didn't exist. It was a different landscaping back then, but nowadays I think they have remodeled it into this kind of water element, and this could act like a white noise to the mosque so that you couldn't hear any of the busyness of the city. and you could hear a very serene sound of like water falling down, which is very nice.
Why Iron Mosque?
Wow, that's an interesting question. So the reason I chose Iron Mosque is because of the sentimental value that I had. So when I was studying architecture, I studied Iron Mosque as a part of our syllabus. So Iron Mosque is interesting because of its construction technology. So it uses steel construction, which is very rare in building a mosque, because using concrete was the more popular construction material in building mosques. So by using steel construction, so as you all know, as this mosque is built quite elevated from the road. So by having steel construction, it's actually have a very firm build. So it is very sturdy, and it achieves the goal of being a higher being, like being with God. So that kind of concept is really interesting. And then I'm really interested because of the architecture and the engineer perspective of this building, because the way they design the columns is very intricate and very different than other building. So as you can see, this building is double volume, which means the height of every floor exceeds 3 meters in height, and which makes us feel like a believer truly pray for God's mercy. So I think this kind of feeling, we really need to like infuse it in our mind as we go inside the mosque, so that we could really feel very little and very humble in front of the God. So other than that, there are a lot of materials that aren't conventional. So it's very international. So I think the architect wants it to be a very modern, not modern, but a really international building. So the material is very clear that it wants to be like water elements or metal elements. So everything is shiny, everything is glass-like. So the use of glass and reflective tile is really like the main points here. Even in the praying area, there's not a lot of carpets. It is only there if we want to pray, and it's not there everywhere. It's not like it is instilled in the ground. So it's just a very few carpets. So it has this cooling effect throughout the mosque. And one of the most interesting thing is there's no walls. So no walls means no boundary. So there wouldn't be any boundary from this section to another section, and the only thing that separates the spaces are the furniture that was used. For example, this is a lecture space, so only the furniture such as the whiteboard separates from another lecture space, which is right behind this whiteboard. So the minimal usage of wall is really amazing. Like most mosques really want it to be very inclusive, very has this kind of boundary, but then this mosque really breaks the norms, and it is really amazing that they could still instill the privacy, the sense of privacy, but then there isn't any walls. So I think that's why I choose Masjid Besi or Iron Mosque.